This is Aram Hamparian. I'm here along with my ANC colleagues, the Armenian Legal Center representatives at the courtroom, the Superior Court here in DC. They just handed down an extremely light sentence, 1 year and 1 day, minus time served, 3 years of supervised release, and a $100 fine. An incredibly light sentence for very, very serious crimes. If you add on top of this that we have many charges being dropped, we have absolutely no extradition requests. We've had overall a very, very weak prosecution. The net effect of all of this is that we have a chilling effect on the right of Americans to exercise our constitutional rights. Americans should be free to speak out, free of the fear of violence. We should be confident that those who compromise or violate our rights are punished. We saw the exact opposite of that today. We saw a Turkey-first policy that prioritizes the American government defending foreign attackers. Okay, so here we're here. These are the prosecutors heading down. They just really came through with a remarkably weak effort to hold those guilty accountable. These are two assailants who pled guilty to a terrible crime. The victim statements today made it very clear that had the police not intervened, these injuries could have been extremely severe, even life-threatening. And for these brutal assaults, for crossing a police line, for consciously violating the free speech rights of Americans, to receive essentially a 1 year sentence minus time served, to get 3 years of suspended release and a $100 fine. This is really a mockery. It's an outrage. It's essentially chills the right of other Americans to go and protest. We should feel free to speak our mind on American soil. If Turkey wants to violate the rights of its own citizens, that is a tragedy, but it's ultimately a Turkish tragedy. When Turkey is allowed to export that violence, when Erdogan himself is allowed to order an attack on American soil, that becomes an American tragedy. We are less free as a nation when foreign governments are allowed to impose their violence on our soil. So now the next time there's an attack, I think everyone's got to look over their shoulder. Everyone's got to make sure that there's extra police protection, because now apparently there's free license for foreign governments, including of course the Turkish government, to come here and wreak violence and terror on American soil with very little pushback from our government. We've seen a weak pushback from the state. We've seen no extradition requests from justice. We've seen a plea agreement to that is, basically at the very low end of the sentencing guidelines. So again, a miscarriage of justice, a deeply, deeply troubling an event. Many of the pro-Erdogan voices you just saw pass behind me. They're leaving the courtroom. There are others here who obviously support the free speech rights of the protesters. The defendants' attorneys tried, I think, kind of in a very ham-handed and weak way to try to politicize this and turn it into a political show when they know the law's not on their side, so they decide to argue politics. That's what I have for you now. This is where we are at the event. This is lawyers, the assailants. There's Murad, there's Mehmet.
Watch out! There's no filming inside the courthouse.
Okay.